All right, get ready, because today we're diving headfirst into this whole idea of Indian civilizational consciousness.
It's a fascinating concept. Really makes you think.
It really does, and I'll be honest, it's a little out there, and that's what we're here for, right? To explore these big, mind-bending ideas. And the excerpt we're diving into from Bhāratīya, well, let me tell you, they don't hold back.
Not at all. They jump right in, questioning this whole notion of what a civilization even is.
Exactly. They're basically like, what if civilizations aren't just groups of people, but they have this, like, collective awareness, a consciousness even?
It's like they're alive, almost, but on a whole different level.
Okay, so before we go any further, I think we need to unpack this word, Cetanā.
Right, because consciousness in English, it just doesn't quite cut it.
Way deeper than that.
Way deeper. The source makes it clear that Cetanā, it's not just about, like, thinking or even understanding. It's this whole other level of self-awareness.
So it's like, I'm not just thinking about this deep dive, I'm aware that I'm the one thinking it.
Exactly. It's a loop, almost. You're aware of your thoughts, but you're also aware of yourself having those thoughts.
Whoa. That's a lot for my brain to process this early in the morning.
And here's the kicker. Even modern cognitive science is starting to catch up to what Indian philosophy has been saying for centuries.
Oh, really? Tell me more about that.
Well, they're finding that consciousness, it might be linked to how our brains process information, like the way information feels when it goes through those complex neural networks.
Hold on. Information can have feelings.
It's more like an awareness. Like the information itself becomes aware of itself.
Okay, now my mind is officially blown. But how do we jump from individual brains having these Cetanā moments to a whole civilization being self-aware?
That's where the source gets super interesting. They use the example of itihasa, which is like Indian history, but like way more than just a timeline of dates and names.
It's history with a capital H.
Yes. It's history that's been thought about, analyzed, almost like the civilization itself is looking back and learning from its past. It even calls it history that has become critical and self-conscious.
So it's like, instead of just remembering what happened, Indian civilization is using its history to shape its present and future.
Precisely. And the source goes even further, saying this isn't just about history. It suggests that this sasti, this Indian civilization, has woven this self-awareness into its very being.
Wait, hold up. A whole civilization can be self-aware like that? That's a lot to take in. And what makes Ascites different from just saying civilization?
Good question. They seem similar, right? But there's a key difference.
Okay, lay it on me. What's the difference?
Well, both imply some kind of order, some system of correctness in the world, right? But the source points out that civilization, that word, often carries this baggage, like one group saying, our way is the civilized way, everyone else needs to get on board.
Right, kind of like forcing your culture on someone else.
Exactly. But Skesti, it's different. The source describes it as building something together. It's collaborative.
So less about we're going to civilize you.
Yeah.
And more about let's figure this whole being human thing out together.
Exactly. And you know what image they use? A potter shaping clay. Each individual, like the potter, shaping and contributing to the Sanskrit as a whole.
I like that. It's not just existing within borders on a map. It's about actively participating in something much, much bigger.
Yes. It's a living, breathing thing, this Sanskrit. It's constantly evolving.
That's a powerful way to think about it. So are you saying it's not enough to just be born in India, geographically speaking, to be Bhāratīya?
You hit the nail on the head. There's more to it than just location.
All right, you've officially piqued my curiosity. So what does it really mean to be Bhāratīya then?
Well, to understand that, we need to dig a little deeper into the source's explanation of Bhāratīya. Okay, so the source says to really grasp this whole Bhāratīya thing.
Which I'm ready for, by the way. Hit me with it.
Okay. The source dives into these two big forces that shape, like, all of Indian life and thought. Dharma and Uta, right?
Yes, Uta.
Yeah.
Have you come across those terms before?
I have, but honestly, a little refresher never hurts.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
So Dharma, in this context, it's like the tradition, the values, all those principles passed down over, like, forever.
Right. The moral compass, guiding light, all that.
Exactly. It's like the blueprint, right? The guide for how to think and how to act.
Okay, that makes sense. And Tat. Now, that one's always been a bit fuzzy for me.
It's such a cool concept. It's the natural order of everything, the rhythm of the universe, the harmony behind it all.
Deeper than just the laws of physics, though. Right?
Yeah, way deeper. It's like this interconnectedness, this flow that connects everything in the cosmos. Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. So dharmas, like the compass inside us, attas, that universal flow, and being Bhāratīya means somehow aligning ourselves with both.
You got it. And the source makes this really interesting connection. Living in harmony with Atta. It's just like that potter shaping the clay, remember?
Yeah, from earlier.
It's like this general but really intentional act of creation, bringing our actions into alignment with the way the universe naturally flows.
I love that analogy. It's so simple, but it really gets the point across, you know? But still, this whole thing about civilizations being alive, like really alive, it's a lot to wrap my head around.
It is. Makes you rethink a lot of what we think about history and culture, you know? Because if civilizations aren't these fixed things, but these dynamic forces that are always changing.
And we're part of that change, not just along for the ride.
That's what the source is suggesting. That we can actually influence the direction of a civilization.
Seriously, that we have that much power.
That's what they're saying. And this is where they introduce the idea of a self-perpetuating civilizational moment. Ever get the feeling, looking back at history, that some periods, some civilizations are just like firing on all cylinders?
Totally. Like everything just clicks. Think about ancient Greece, right? All that philosophy and art exploding all at once. It's like they tapped into something.
Exactly. And the source says those moments, they aren't random. It's about achieving this state, ekatva buddhi, a unity where the civilization's momentum is totally aligned with dharma and atta.
Everything's in sync. Like individual actions, beliefs, even the universe is all flowing in the same direction.
Exactly. And when that happens, the source says, it creates this incredible energy, this momentum that propels the civilization forward. It's not just surviving, it's thriving. It's like the civilization itself becomes this unstoppable force.
Okay, now my mind is officially blown, this self-perpetuating moment. It's powerful stuff. But how do we tap into it? Are we just along for the ride, or can we actually make it happen?
$1 million question, right? And the source suggests that we're not just bystanders. We can become conscious participants in this whole self-perpetuation thing, but it takes a shift in perspective. It's about recognizing that we're not separate. You know, we're all part of this web, this incredible tapestry. Our individual actions, even the small ones,
They all ripple out and affect the whole.
exactly. Like, remember that potter analogy? We're all shaping the clay, each in our own way, contributing to this self-perpetuating moment.
So it's not just about understanding Dharma, all these big concepts. We have to actually live them, embody them in everything we do.
Exactly. It's about aligning our actions with that universal flow, becoming conscious creators, you know?
But that's a huge responsibility, isn't it? Knowing that we have this power to shape something as vast as a civilization.
It is, but it's also incredibly empowering. Because the source is saying when we align ourselves with Dharma, with Dharta, we tap into this, like, wellspring of power and creativity.
We become more than just ourselves, almost.
Yes, we become part of something so much bigger. We contribute to this collective potential, this possibility of a future where Dharma and Alta aren't just ideas, but a lived reality.
It's like we're all connected, like energetically even.
Yeah. Right. And what's so fascinating is that this Indian civilizational consciousness, these ideas, they're not bound by time or culture.
So maybe every civilization, every culture has its own version of this Bhāratīya Sāṃskṛtika Cetanā, its own way of tapping into that collective potential.
Exactly. It makes you think, doesn't it? What if beneath all the differences, we're all searching for that same harmony, that same sense of connection?
That ekatva buddhi, that oneness that brings it all together.
Yes. This deep dive has really stretched our imaginations, but, you know, this is just the beginning.
Just a taste.
Right. An invitation to keep asking these big, challenging questions about who we are, why we're here, and what we're capable of creating together.
And on that note, I think we've done some serious exploring today.
We've gone deep, that's for sure. From Cetanā to civilizations as living beings, it's been quite a journey.
A journey I am so glad we took together. But like you said, this is just the beginning. So to everyone listening, don't let the conversation end here.
Keep diving deep into these ideas. Connect them to your own experiences, your own cultures. You might be surprised what you discover.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those big questions, and keep that sense of wonder alive.